Hey everybody, it's Coach Reiser. We're going to go through a solo drill video. Okay, so this is something you can do on your own, and it has some really good stretches in it, some really good movement drills, things that can help you with your jiu-jitsu game. All right, so let's take a look. So the first thing we're going to do is get to the ground, okay, and we're going to warm up our back by turning our head to the side and throwing our legs over the open side. I'll do this from different angles so you can see exactly what's going on. So I turn my head one way and I'm just going to do half of a back roll. Like this. Get my feet to the ground. Come back forward, feet apart, do a V, sit and reach and stretch. Alright, so I'm getting my hamstrings as well as warming up my back. I can do the other side now, turn my head. Okay, if you're not able to get all the way back with your feet to the ground, you can go part of the way, whatever's more comfortable for you. You can go part of the way. If you can get all the way back, that's great. And turn here. Same thing, other side. Here. Stretch. Okay? When we do our stretch, you want to have your feet flexed, your legs straight, reach forward. Okay, you can have your posture tall when you do this. It has a better, more efficient stretch if you do that, instead of rounding your back and reaching forward. Okay? So there's our first one. Now the next thing we're going to do are some ups. All right. Now the ups, I'm going to kick my hips up like this and bring my feet above me. I want to have my elbows on the ground. Okay. They're keeping me stable as I do my up. I also want to try and get my hips over my chest and my head. So not just to here, but stacking up a little bit more. Okay. So that's how we can do ups. We're going to add some twists to those ups now, almost like we're doing an arm bar from like closed guard, or like an arm bar after you're doing a triangle and they stand up from your closed guard. So from here, I'm going to go up, twist, and curl my legs. So I add a little hip twist. All right, different angle. Twist, twist. Watch how my legs curl down like I'm completing an arm bar. Okay. Next part of that with the ups, we're going to figure four our legs like we're doing a triangle. Okay. So I go up, figure four, and I want to lean forward, posture up. Okay. That posture up is helpful when we do things like power sweeps, because then we know how to bring ourselves up to complete the power sweep. Okay. We do a couple of these more. Like this, different angle, figure four. Notice that the leg that goes underneath is the one that ends up here on bottom that I roll over like it's a log. Okay? So there's our ups. So upas, our bridges. I'm going to bring my hips up. I'm at an angle, and I like to add this reach. Okay? As I do this reach, what can be helpful is teaching my arm to do this. Elbow comes in tight, leads me right back to proper hands. Reach, elbow comes in tight, leads me back to proper hands. This is actually a motion that we can use to regain the underhook if we're in bottom of half guard. So I like this motion where we can teach our body to have muscle memory with it. Okay, different angle. So on my side, I'm bridging. There's space here. My hip is up. It's not my butt's not up. It's my hip that's up. Bring this down. Okay, there's our upas. All right, now, let me look at my list here. We're going to do push-ups. Now these push-ups are going to be a little bit different. So I like to call these like jiu-jitsu push-ups, right? Because we're actually going to try to put our hands in a position that's going to be closer to where they would be if, like, let's say we're in bottom of a mount and we have to try to keep space or push somebody off of us, okay? So I'll go to the side so you can see the difference. I want my hands close to my ribs like we're doing bicep push-ups, but I'm also going to lean forward, okay? So watch how my weight distribution is a little bit different. So instead of going wide, my hands are going to be here, and I'm going to lean forward and do my push-ups, okay? You have the option of going on your palms. You can go on your knuckles if you want to. I like to go on my knuckles just because it it doesn't hurt my wrists as much. So I go here. See how close they are? Leaning forward, push up. Okay, different angle. Look at how my fists are closer to like the sides of my ribs here. Kind of mimicking how we would have to maybe push somebody off of us by the hips, like if we're doing like hip escapes to get out of mount, things like that. That angle, that position, using those muscles. All right, so jiu-jitsu style push-ups. Stand and base. So what we're gonna do is stand and base side to side. So from here, I'm in sit-up guard. I'm gonna bring my hips off the ground, point my butt to the ceiling. Okay, like this, and sit back through. Switch, hips off the ground, point my butt to the ceiling, and sit back through. Okay, so that's maybe like level 1. Okay, we can make it a little bit more difficult by going here, here. See how I switch? I shuffle my feet. This one goes down, the other one comes up. My hand switch. So that's a little bit of coordination, but if you feel you need a challenge, you can do this variation. Okay? So there's 2 different stand and base motions we can go through. It's a good workout too for your arms and your hips. All right, now shoulder roll to a V-sit. So from here, I'm actually going to start like this, on my knees, okay? You know how we thread the needle with our legs? We're going to thread the needle with our arms. So I'm going to reach this through, tuck my head underneath, and I want to stack myself. Here, I stack myself by leaning up on my head and shoulder, let my hips come up and over into like a V-sit and reach. Just to have my feet apart so that they'll be ready to put someone into close guard, okay? Now I can sit up and through and go to the opposite side. I'm going this way, I tuck this arm, okay? Tuck through, stack myself, legs come up and through, okay? Let's do that again, making some space. So going this way. Back to this way. I'm breathing out as I roll through. Okay. So that is a shoulder roll to the V-sit. All right, now let's try the full monkey roll. So I'm checking out my list here. I got 15 things here for you. Here's the full monkey roll. So do it from different angles. When I first teach this one, it seems like sometimes it's easier to first learn with your hands here. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like with my arms going out, underneath, grabbing my thighs. I'm going to get to my shoulder. Very similar to like our butterfly sweep or Marcelo sweep. I have to get all the way to my shoulder, stay a ball, and I have my head by my knee. Then I have to kind of fold myself over, almost like stacking myself like the last drill. So I get to here. I got to pop myself up over my shoulders. Continue rolling sideways, okay? Here it is going the other direction. See how I lean forward first? Shoulder close to the ground. Then I gotta use my feet to kind of pop myself up off my hip and onto my shoulders. Okay? When that's easy, have your hands behind you. Okay? This is, I think it's easier for me, and this is how it was explained to me. Have your hands behind you, so I'm just kind of clasping. Then you want to go over, like this. Try to keep your feet on the ground as much as possible. Over, like this. Now notice a little extra thing that I'm doing. You may or may not have to do this, but I reset my hips by using my last foot that lands, so watch. This one, it posts, and then I use it to help reset me. Okay, here it is again, slow. this guy, post, and look how I use it to reset myself hips forward. All right, different angle. All right, there's a full monkey roll. Next, we're gonna do a half monkey roll, and then basically like we'll alternate the monkey roll on each shoulder by throwing our legs out straight as soon as we stack ourselves upside down. So as you can see, we'll go here and then straighten out the legs. Now I'm going to be going over this shoulder. Okay. Now I'll go in the opposite direction. Right shoulder's first. And because I'm facing the opposite direction, this is now my left shoulder. Okay, so that's how we can do kind of a half monkey roll and alternating sides. Okay, that helps us go into the 180. So this is a little bit more difficult. This 180 type of a shoulder roll is something that helps us when we do the omoplata. Okay, so what I need to do is I rock and roll back, and if I want to go over this shoulder, I rock, go on that shoulder. Once I get there, I have to turn my hips. So we're gonna go here, rock, and turn my hips the opposite direction. Okay? Now, I'll do a couple more. I'm leaning one way, getting to this shoulder, and I pop my hips up so I can switch from this hip to this shoulder, and I should come down this shoulder to this hip. Okay, here it is again from a different angle. All right, so if I'm leaning over here, I have to almost pretend like I have 4 corners I want to hit, like a square or a rectangle. So I have to go hip, shoulder, shoulder, hip. Here's the hip. We're onto the shoulder, next shoulder, and then onto this hip. Okay, and then reverse, facing a different angle. So those are good mobility drills to help with the omoplata when it's time to learn how to do that particular shoulder lock where we use our legs to get the opponent's shoulder. Okay? All right, now this one's a lot of fun. The junior class calls this the roly-polies. So this one, it's a fun mobility drill and it will get you dizzy. So what I'm going to do is go to butterfly. Okay, I like to grab my ankles like this. Now what I have to do is almost rotate in 4 different directions off of my hip, shoulder, shoulder, hip. All right, so it looks like this. It's just best to see it than explain it. I go over, pop my hips up, over the same way, pop my hips up. So I'm actively popping my hips up. Okay, once I get onto my shoulder, I have to do almost like an up, but I'm not using my feet, it's mostly just my hips. So here, up. And you can see why this will make you dizzy. So there's a fun mobility drill, all right? Call those roly-polies because it's fun. All right, now, let's go through a series of movements, all right? This series of movements are for our legs. It's going to be like our different ways to stretch our hips and also do a screamo motions. The screamo motions in Jiu-Jitsu usually talks about like making your legs move in circular motions or the windshield wiper motion that we describe sometimes in the curriculum. So I'm going to start here, with my feet down, and I'm going to warm up my hips by rotating off my heels and then dropping my knees to the ground. Start warming up loosening up the hips. Okay, now once we have that down, you feel like you've done enough of those, the next thing we have to do is start getting our hips to move a little bit more independently than like the rest of our back and our shoulders. So I explained this, you gotta wag your tail like a dog, okay? So from here, I'm gonna kick my knees. You don't really have to kick your knees, but that's the idea of what our legs are doing. All right, right now you can see my hips they're pretty static on the ground. So I need to shift them as I go side to side, okay? Different angle. Okay, now that turns into this. We're gonna start doing outward rotations with our legs. Then you switch it to inward rotations with your legs, like this. This gives you a little bit more dexterity in your legs so you can improve your hook game with your legs and your sweeps. All right, so from this angle, switch it. Okay, so there's our leg Eskrima series. Now, hip escapes hip escapes back and forward. Generally, we see the hip escape moving back a lot. Okay, so that's where we're moving away from. Like we're trying to get out from underneath someone. Okay, different angle. I go to my side. Now the hip escape, my butt's going to be a little bit more up. So different than the upa, where I lead with the front, I'm going to lead with my back a little bit more. I kind of fold in half like a letter J. All right, try to get my hips above my head. All right, then I can straighten out and go again. So it looks like an inchworm moving across. Okay, I post this foot, hips come up. I'm on my shoulder, not my hands. And then I go hips up, and my head goes down, straighten out, okay? We can do that on both sides. So for example, here's alternating. One way, other way. Okay? Now, from this angle I want to explain that when you do this, you want to try to have a minimal amount of your back on the ground as you're being mobile with this. So here's something that we can think about. So as I'm on my side here, and I hip escape, and I alternate, watch how I bring my hips off the ground, and I try to just go along the top parts of my shoulders. Up, 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 still off of my hips, and now hip escape this side. Okay? Now, I gotta make some more space. I'm going to do that by doing hip escapes going forward. So I'm on my side, my foot plants, and I'm going to pull myself up towards my leg. On my side, I pull myself up and square up on my butt. Okay, different angle. Set it back up. And then coming back towards you. All right, so there are forward hip escapes. So some different things to think about for a hip escape motion. Moving on to threading the needle. So threading the needle motion, this goes along with the hip escape when we practice it in class. So same beginning. I go here. Now, it's okay if you need to. You could do another hip escape or just a half of one to get your hips in the right position, because we should try to get, here's our big step, this leg goes underneath, in a straight line like we started, just now we're belly down and our head's facing this way, okay? All right, now let's do that a couple more times. There's the windshield wiper or screamer motion. Okay, so I get to here, I'm on my side. Notice that my feet are facing you. I have to end up with my head facing you. So I go up, turn. If that's enough, great. Big step back. Okay, that's gonna help. I take a really big step back. Look, I'm almost getting my head towards you. This foot goes underneath. This is the eye of the needle. This is the thread. Thread the needle here. Okay, one more thing to think about. Bring your knees to your elbows because that helps you. Well, if you're gonna go to turtle position and not get choked, it's better to bring your knees up to your elbows so that you can close off your neck here. Okay, now post eskrima or windshield wiper motion and then sit back to your butt. Okay, here it is from the side. Hip escape. Oh, I need a little bit more, that's fine. Hip escape, a big step. So, there's our thread the needle. Now, this is something that I've been showing to help teach how to do the arm bar from mount. So this is a motion that we can do to help get to S mount. I'm gonna move towards you so we get some space. All right, now, I'm gonna use this motion like I'm bringing the arm across the body, across the center. I'm gonna reach up above the head here. Okay, now from here, I want to try to get my knee to come up and this leg goes straight up like I'm doing a kick. All right, also notice, look at this square, my hips are square to it. When I finish moving, I want to be at a diagonal with my hips in relationship to this square in front of me. Okay, cross body, reach up, I slide this up, kick out. Okay, and now this is where I can go into S mount. All right, for the sake of the drill, I can continue doing this by just stepping over this leg here, and I can do the same thing going this direction. Okay, so bring it across, lean forward, I move my knee up into the armpit area, and this goes straight. Switch the hands, S mount. Now I'm back facing you, okay? So that's a good drill we can do. Modification, if you find it hard doing one hand, you can put both hands, okay? This is how I would suggest modifying this. There's the self-defense armbar we talk about in class. Instead of going here, it's like we're pinning down their shoulder. So I would have you go from here or above the head to way over to the corner, both hands down, lean your body forward, okay? Lean your body forward and slide up. Lean your body forward, slide up, okay? Different angle. I'm leaning my body, I'm pushing the shoulder down, leaning my body forward. See how my hips are getting off of my base? So I go from posture, shoulders over hips, to leaning forward, all my weight's on the shoulder. That way I can slide my legs up, okay? Also notice I'm trying to have my legs stay low above the ground, kind of like I'm hovering above the ground as opposed to doing a big step up. Okay, we want to get away from those big step ups because that gives the bottom person space to escape as we're trying to do our submission. Okay, so there's the S mount motion drill. The pendulum sweep. The pendulum sweep motion that we're going to do is for the sweep that's also known as the flower sweep. So I'm going to end up on my back, or starting on my back, and then I'm going to end up on my stomach, like I'm trying to reverse the position or sweep the position from bottom to having mount position. All right, so I'll start like this. I have their sleeve or their arm so they can't post. I'm going to pretend like I'm reaching underneath their leg so I can improve my angle. So my feet are facing this way. I want to try to point my feet towards you. So I go here, and I'm going onto my shoulder, turning, Okay? That's the first part of it. So I have to improve my angle, or I have to gain my angle. Alright? Next, I will improve my angle by turning a little bit from not perpendicular, but at a 45-degree angle. Okay, diagonally. So take their post. I go underneath. Now, I get all the way to this 45-degree angle, and I'm going to twist my hips, almost like our up and twist, but now we're not doing an up. We're going here. Okay? Post through again. Grab, underhook, gain an angle, improve the angle. I got the underhook of the leg. We're going to fall to the side, and then we're going to twist. One more. Alright, and you can see how you can do that over and over in just a small amount of space. So if you need to do some solo drilling and you have enough space at home where you can do this safely, this is something you can do when you're not in class or before and even after class. Alright, there you have it.